Right, it is now 1 o'clock, so we will get today's meeting underway. We're connected to live stream, please be aware of that. Welcome to all council members, and today we have Councillor Gillette, and Councillor Phelps attending by Zoom, and along with Emma. So welcome everybody, and to members of the public that have also tuned into the live stream. The opening karakia today will be read by Francois.
Whakatakatāu ki te ihu, whakatakatāu ki a mātumi ki nā tiuta, ki a mātaratara ki tai. Ia ki ana te atukura, te hio, te hauru, te he mareo.
Thank you, Francois, for that. Right, moving on to apologies. We have no apologies. Everybody is in attendance, which is great. So we'll move on to declarations of interest. Deputy Mayor Casson has removed some items as noted. They already have been removed from the schedule if you have a look at that. So thank you for keeping that current and up to date, and we remind everybody of that obligation, please. Urgent items not on the agenda, we have none. So we'll move straight on to the minutes of meetings, and the first one is the ordinary council meeting minutes of 17th December. I'll take them as read and no questions regarding them. So the resolution is that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting of 17th December 2024 be confirmed as a true and correct record of the meeting. Do I have a move for a seconder, please? Councillor Beard, thank you. Councillor Casson, thank you very much. All in favour?
Aye.
Thank you. And I approve that my digital signature be added to the confirmed ordinary council meeting minutes of 17 December 2024. We have no minutes to be received from any standing committees, so we will move straight through to the action list and ask Barb to present to us, please. Thank you, Barb.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So, with your indulgence, I will take the action list as read, but I would like to highlight a couple of areas within the action list as updates for you, just so you've got a little bit more context. Item number 2, which was around the council headquarters, there was going to be preparation work around the scope of structural analysis and report, and that was going to come back to the council. It was also going to be included in the LTP once we knew the model for the LTP. Can I suggest that actually, over the passage of time since that was original report based purely on the building here, the HQ building here, is that we do a little bit more work around getting a more comprehensive approach about more than just what the restructure would be for here, but look a little bit more collectively around what some options are. I don't believe that that work requires a great deal more or any consultant time, but more of an internal view of preparing a paper that could come back. And I'm suggesting that I bring that overview in April for you to have some consideration, which will be more comprehensive than just what the potential dollar figure for this building would be. I think we need a wider brief for that. So we'll prepare to bring that back in April if it meets everyone's needs. Item 5, we did have a discussion, and just to let folk know, I know within this paper it shows that the invitation has been sent to Tim Shaw, and that they are sending a representative. Tim's unable to make it, but they'll send a representative for the March meeting to attend. But just so that you're aware, we are having ongoing conversations at a staff level around the whole feral cat issue and what could potentially be coming forward for that meeting in March. So there is some work being progressed internally about preparing a bigger brief around the feral cat program and what that can mean. So that will be coming forward in March. And then for item number 8, which is around the Hokitika Racecourse, there was an intent, and that's going to be fulfilled today, where we will be bringing back the discussion around key messages and financials, and I've asked for the Mayor if we can put that in the in confidence component of this meeting, purely so that we can share that with you and councillors and have that discussion before it goes any wider. So that will be here. I'm sorry it wasn't on your agenda, but I do have papers ready for that discussion this afternoon in the in confidence component. That was the only questions out I thought would be required, but I'm happy to take any comments or questions from you. Any questions, Councillor Kazan?
Item 3, Barb, the Hokitika Gorge Swing Bridge completion in February. I trust we're still on target for that. Is there any planning underway for a soft opening or formal opening for that?
There has been some discussion around what communications could be shared and who we would share that with. That's been undertaken within the staff, and we can bring that back out of session and circulate that for the council and area councillors to have a view. I'm assuming that there will be some participation from councillors in anything that we would want to do as a bit of a soft launch around it being finally finished and how that looks. Is that where you were going with it?
Any further questions for Barb, please? Paul?
Your Worship, the number 5, the feral cat. So discussions underway with dog. Tell me that doesn't involve throwing 1080.
No, it's nothing to do with pest control as you're referring in terms of 1080 or anything there. It's more around the understanding of what are the options around how you can address the feral cat population, more around, to be honest, about neutering and what that looks like and what the impact with that as a solution could be or not be to come back to the march. So it's not around any poisons or 1080 conservation.
I'm pleased to hear that. Like the Department of Conservation role in that, because they don't do trapping, they don't do neutering, that's for sure. But they do denating because they had a big trial run of this up in the Lord's Pass area just last year of throwing 1080 at a helicopter to kill the feral cats. And I hate to see that. Well, I hate feral cats, but I hate to see something so cool. So that's fine.
I'm happy to raise that with the representatives who are coming in March so that they can cover that component of if there's anything you'd like around that.
And, sorry, something else. The parking strategy. And this was to be tied into the CBD strategy. Who's leading the CBD strategy, please? At a previous meeting, I'd suggested that this, rather than having staff management coming up with a framework for that we actually start off on the right footing and involve Love Hokitika and Enterprise Hokitika and that on the ground level, so that they're right plugged in right from the start to how that's going to shape up. Otherwise, we risk another monstrosity like one-way Rebel Street.
So what I've suggested to the Mayor, and I believe that she's enjoying her due consideration with your fellow colleagues, is that my preference would be that actually the Mayor and representatives, however the Mayor would like to see that around the council, is actually the lead on that project, that we as the council provide the staff arms and leads around how the work can be done, but it's being driven from the Mayor and the council about how that whole process gets enacted. I think really good point about who should be involved at the start. I know there's been some very preliminary work done to try and give us a starting position, but my expectation will be that the Mayor will be giving us clear direction as to how she wants it, who she wants it to go.
And I confirm with that too, Paul, that the likes of the entities that you've mentioned are certainly in that list. It's important we bring people to the table with this, so we're covering the full viewpoint, because we're not talking about here and now, we're talking about a 5 and 10 year strategy that's going to cover any growing for movement within the CBD.
Yeah, okay, so that's more reassuring, because we don't want to repeat what happened with Rebel Street, which was alienated. The retail in particular. So this is the opportunity to start with ground floor and absolutely right.
It's good leadings to take forward. That's fine.
Anything further for that? Thank you very much, Barb, for that. Can I have a move and a second to please, so that we can resolve the acceptance of those reports? Thank you, Councillor Neil, Councillor Bird, and Piet. Sorry. Thank you. All in favour? Thank you very much. Right. Presentations, we have none on the agenda, so I move forward to Lindley, please, as Finance Manager, to speak to the financial performance for December 2024. Welcome, Lindley. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Worship, councillors. Through your worship, I present the financial report as at the 31st of December. I would like to point out some items on the report. Firstly, the essential services ratio. The expected ratio is 100%, and it's a statutory requirement to report on this. At this stage, it's not looking like this will be met this year, but until we get through the summer season of transport works such as the road resealing, and we get the invoices from that, at this stage I can't give you an indication of what it will be at. Operating results, 1.3 million down on budget. Most of this is explained. 47% relates to the non-cash swaps on that. And as I promised in the past, we have been working on spreading our budget in accordance with expected timing. That's ongoing work for that. Debt. You'll notice the grant debt in there is usually a bit of a lag in payments of grant debts, but no concern over that one. Rates debts, yes, they are higher than last year, but there was considerable improvement on last month, and we continue to get more and more rate payers going on to direct debits, which spreads the payments more. Apart from that, I think through your window.
Thank you. Any questions for me, please? Councillor Pearson.
Bottom of page 21 in section 9, $225,000 emergency road maintenance for slip removal following the weather event on the 9th of November. Can we confirm that is claimable, or is that an expense on ratepayers?
I will need to refer that question to DA. Do you have information on that?
Sorry, councillors, I don't have to update that. I'm guessing it's probably to do with Jackson's Bay, but I don't.
If someone could come back to us just to confirm that's recoverable as opposed to our contribution on top of anything that's recoverable, would be great. Thanks, Tim.
Just a comment, if I may, regarding the forecast debt, which is a forecast balance of June 2025, 43.1 million, which should sound as alarm bells as we head into the long-term planning discussions. And I just remind everyone, not that they need reminding, that keep feet on the ground very firmly during those discussions, because we've got the wastewater treatment plants for Hokitika and Free. It's going to add on to this. It's horrendous, it's frightening to think of. We will end up, that in itself is a warning bell.
Lindley, I have a question, but it's potentially going to go to Earl. Page 21, fees and charges for the waste disposal levy payments are 47k due to higher than expected tourist numbers and escalation. So if we are getting back to pre-COVID numbers by tourists, are we going to expect to see this as a continual climb each year that's going to impact our budgeting?
That's correct. It really depends on visitor numbers. General feeling is that tourists generate between 1 and 2 kilos of waste per day. So it's quite a lot of waste, and it really does depend on numbers.
And that's also being transferred through to the contract, etc., where we're going with the waste management. So we're factoring in that increase every year with those budgets. Okay, so the other thing I will ask then, perhaps between the two of you, is that is there any way that you can extrapolate that information for me to use with taking this and using this as part of our presentation to the government as far as waste management and pressure from the tourism industry on ratepayers?
Estimated.
Yep.
It's very hard to.
I know, we've got some idea of that pressure point, that'll be greatly appreciated from both sides. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anything further for Lily? Sorry, Councillor Neil.
Yeah, the consultancy fees for the local board have done well, and I feel this might go to you also. Sorry. Can you tell us what we've got for that? For the 5,000?
We're getting water safety plans, water delivery plans, and it's a government requirement. We have to have those, so that's,
That we didn't have them in the past?
no, it's a new requirement we have to have. Well, we have got water safety plans, etc., but this is an update we have to supply to the PIA.
Just another question from me, Lily, just also for clarification, because I know pre-Christmas we talked about the capital projects like Paul mentioned with wastewater, etc., and what that would look like on the impact on rates. So I'm presuming also we've got that increased debt level factored into that as well, that whole.
Yes, that has, are you referring to the LTP process? Yes, we have factored that in and we've looked at the impact of those projects on the debt. And that is one thing I apologise, I meant to mention about the debt. You can see the only movement in debt to date, Westroads have repaid 300k of their debt. That end of year forecast is under the assumption that all projects will be undertaken by then. And we do not request loan money until the end of the year to minimise the interest, and also when we get a better idea of actually how much we've spent on projects and what our requirement is.
So the capital projects that are currently in the budget are included in that debt level?
Exactly,
Yes.
as they were planned.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it. Anything further for Lily, please? Stephen, Patrick, have you guys got anything? No?
No, I'm fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Lily. Oh, sorry, Councillor Neil.
Just the grants outstanding, when are we expecting the freedom camping grants? We should get that within the next month. I don't believe there's any query over that particular grant. It's just timing. They have to do their checks and balances, and it often takes 2 or 3 months.
Thank you, Lily. If there's nothing further for Lily, I have a mover and a seconder. Please resolve that the financial performance report for 31st December 2024 be received. Councillor Neil, thank you very much. I have seconder. Councillor Manera, thank you very much. All in favour? Carried. Thank you, Lily. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Right, the next item on the agenda is the consenting and compliance committee terms of reference. Now, this has been removed in accordance with Standing Orders 9.9. If justified by circumstances, an agenda item may be withdrawn by the Chief Executive, and that is what has been done. Would you like to, does anybody want Barb to clarify anything with that decision?
So it will be coming back next meeting.
Yes, you can clarify.
This was a document that was prepared and was on the, if you like, the cycle of the papers to come through on the minutes or on the for the meeting. And looking at the paper, I didn't feel like I should stop the paper coming forward before we had an opportunity to see it come back through the cycle. But as I've explained to the Mayor, my conversation with her has been around the fact that it's now been superseded by the thinking that I'd like to do around the GM regulatory role and how that's managed, control and planning within that, etc. The subcommittee that we've currently got documented here, I don't think is going to address the issues that, from what I can tell from people around this table, around how we're managing access for ratepayers around legal complaints and processes around that, And what I'd like to do is be able to resubmit a subcommittee that actually focuses on monitoring the trends and how that's being addressed, rather than perhaps the focus that was in this paper. So I'm just refining it a little bit more to try and address some of the issues that have been raised with. Yes, ma'am.
I think that's a good move. There was some pushback previously about this committee, about the formation of the committee in the first place, and only because the council put our foot down that it went through. And then in terms of reference that had been drafted the first time around, seemed to skirt around, as you've discovered, skirt around some of the real problems that were behind the need for this committee in the first place. So I'm pleased you observed that, and I think it's a good move to put back and have another look.
Definitely think we need a subcommittee, but I'd like us to be focused on a solution about what needs to be done in a timely fashion, and that's where I think we can reach it best. Thank you.
We'll be quite clear on that one. Councillor Pearson?
What's the timeframe on that, Barb? Is that a month, 3 months? 6 months?
I would say actually that it probably will be 2 months. It's not next month,
Yeah.
but I think definitely the month after that I can give a better line of sight. And I'm happy for the conversation to have if people feel that we need to do all these surrounds in terms of reference for that, but definitely 2 months. And that'll coincide with my thinking around how we can also support those teams and within the organisation.
Thank you, Rob. Right, so next item on the agenda is the transfer of grazing permit management for the Hokitika Racecourse. Marcus, can you serve as manager to speak to this, please?
Yes. Councillors, take the paper as read. It's a request to transfer the grazing permits from Destination Western to Western District Council. The request came from Destination Western in the first place, and it made sense in terms of Western District Council's involvement with the racecourse. We've included the current permit and then the updated permit, just to clarify a few things.
Good. Thank you. Any questions for Marcus, please? Does make sense? Streamlines things rather nicely. Sorry, before you move it, Paul.
Wondering why the other grazers relinquished me.
Well, for whatever reason, potentially with the line being pulled back on where what grazing was available, that would have had some impact. And I guess potentially some would have seen that ultimately the grazing was going to be reduced anyway. People want RDA to be able to remain there, so natural course of human movement, isn't it? Is they'll find alternative grazing somewhere else. Councillor Cassidy, happy to move it. Do I have a seconder, please, for that? Councillor Burden. Movement is that the report be received and that Council transfer the management of the grazing permits from Destination Western Limited to Western District Council as of February 1st, 2025. Do I have a seconder, please? That was Councillor Burden, wasn't it? Yep. All in favour? Aye. Against?
And I'll abstain.
Okay, thank you. Jane, abstention recorded. And that is for your involvement with the grazing. Yes, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Right, that's carried. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Jane, for that. Now, updated Safer West in terms of reference. Marcus, please.
Yeah, look, hopefully this is just a relatively straightforward administrative process. The updated terms of reference were contained as part of a Chief Executive report started last year, but weren't formally adopted. So we're just trying to create some administrative certainty, if you like, for the coalition group for the rest of this year. So we're asking that the council adopt the previously tabled, updated Safer Western Coalition Terms of Reference.
Moved by Councillor Burden. There's no questions. Seconded by Councillor Beers. All in favour?
Right.
Against? Carried.
Can I make a comment?
We have moved and
That's fine.
no, if it's a comment, if it's not going to detract from the motion.
No. I'm just inviting any other councillors to come along to the meetings that we do have. It's a great networking opportunity and to see all the different things that are happening within the community and what some of the concerns are and so on like that. And it covers health, education, civil defence, police, defence, quite a wide variety of people. So Tinker and I are usually there. But yeah, welcome any other councillors to come along.
Thank you, Jane, for that. That's greatly appreciated. Perhaps we can ensure that everybody has the meeting time circulated so they've got that to look into at the time.
Just in relation to that, through your worship, are we still involved?
It's an open invitation.
It is an open invitation, so it's absolutely, they are welcome, and I don't know that we have had representatives for, but I'd love to have them along.
Perhaps, Marcus, if you can check the communication lines and make sure that they're added to that so that they get the emails coming up when the meetings are on. And the same with the councillors as well. Please, thank you for that. Excellent, so that's
Great, thank you.
approved. Thank you, Marcus. And thank you, Jane, for those comments and Paul for recognising Emily's ability to attend those meetings as well. Okay, the next one is, golly gosh, there's a verbal update on the West Coast Wilderness Trail Management Group. The last workshop was held on Friday, December the 6th, 2024. It was a very successful workshop. It involved key stakeholders, staff, council representatives and Wilderness Trail Trust members. It was excellent. I was very pleased. I must say, a little bit nervous about interaction and communication and challenges that could have arisen from that, but everybody was very respectful and listened and came together, and I think we're actually going to get something very successful going with this going forward. The purpose of the workshop was to share information and hold discussions regarding the Wilderness Trail in an open and transparent manner, and I think we did that exceptionally well. And of course, no decisions or resolutions were carried out, and of course they won't be at this. These will be recommendations that come to council to consider via a report. Discussions at that workshop covered the Milltown Weirs, the Manapua Boardwalk, Total Bridge, financial inputs and cost recovery, health and safety issues and upcoming events. I like the format of the workshop because it takes away the, when I say political correctness, it just makes things a little bit more informal that people feel that they can contribute, that they can be a part of the big picture. And that their opinion and comments have got some value, so long may that continue too. Now, from that meeting, terms of reference were required, and Barb has formulated those, so thank you very much for that, Barb. These have been circulated around the working group for feedback, and the feedback that came from that was great. Really good comments, everybody was engaged, and what was really evident that everybody's got the same focus with this going forward. So very, very pleased with that. With that, if anybody has any concerns regarding the terms of reference or feeling excluded from a council perspective, we can share the terms of reference with you, but it's very, very clear what the purpose is, and that's to oversee the governance of the West Coast Wilderness Trail and guide further strategies and decision-making in relation to cycling with that trail. So we've been very, very clear with what the scope is of that, and the same with the responsibilities. And for example, defining the overall strategic plan for the West Coast Wilderness Trail, ownership of the development and maintenance of the Wilderness Trail asset plan, ensuring the prioritisation of projects reflects the community user needs, supports the New Zealand Cycle Trail Nahanga Network Program and Strategy and meets the criteria set by Major Great Rides New Zealand, working closely with all key stakeholders of the West Coast Wilderness Trail and other stakeholder organisations, supporting funding applications as applicable, assist with bridging project barriers outside the influence of staff, assisting to bring a community voice to the working group, assisting with bridging project barriers with the project team, Western District Council staff, councillors and the community. I think the structure is excellent, and I'm hoping that everybody will be quite comfortable with what's been created. And of course, everything will come back to council by reports. And then also any other work where we need a formal report via Earl, that will be done and presented to council for recommendations and any movement going forward. But no decisions will be made through this working group. This is purely making sure we get it right, with the aim, preferably, to lessening the burden on the ratepayers. That's got to be the ultimate end goal, like, while we keep the efficiency and effectiveness of the trails to the business and the economy. Any questions regarding that?
Just some feedback. There's been great feedback from people that I've spoken to that were involved in that initial meeting. They're really impressed and looking at that as a step in the right direction, and really happy to be involved. Yeah, so
Good.
I assume the terms of reference have to come back to council to be approved.
Yes, they do, because we've got their comments, so we need to look at that and say what's missing in there, what do we need to inject into there, and then finalise them, bring them back to council for stamping and good to go.
Yeah, I think that the intention is, we have another meeting with the group, the original group. We reflect on the feedback collected on the draft terms of reference, because they were all a little bit different, and I think giving them all an opportunity to review them and have that discussion so that they can work with what is appropriate that they feel they want to participate in. And certainly I think the year's intention when she had the discussion was, while it's starting as quite a small group currently, it may expand over a period of time as we build greater relationships and communication. But this is a core group to try and get that foundation done.
Sorry, just quickly, so is it still the trail manager and
Yes.
we're still in place?
Yes, they have to stay in place because we can't apply for funding without the trust.
Yep.
And to apply for funding, you have to have a trail manager. So Jackie's title as trail manager is how we get around the application for funding.
That's chicken.
Yes, no, still in place and has to remain there, Francois. And that's now been recognised by a lot of the stakeholders who sort of didn't really comprehend that position and why. Yeah, excellent. So can I have move and a second, please, and resolve that my verbal update be received, please? Councillor Verdon, Councillor Casson, thank you very much. All in favour? Yes. Carried. Thank you. Next on the list we have administrative resolutions, the warrant of appointment, and that is for Chanel Simpson, who will be covering Claire Lomax, our dog control officer, in her absence when she's off at any point in time. And Chanel, of course, is the Grey District Council dog control officer who resides here. And her and Claire have got a very, very good working relationship around the dog control, and it just makes good sense, good practical business sense that she step into that role. The coverage is reciprocal between Grey and Western at the best of times. So I'll take it that everybody has read the warrant of appointment and understands the content of that and is happy with that. And if that be the case, I'd like to resolve that council confirm its seal being affixed to the document warrant of appointment. Do I have a move and a seconder, please? Councillor Neal, thank you very much. Councillor Beard, thank you very much. All in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Great. Thank you for that. Right, we now get to the stage of going into public excluded. Can I have a move and a seconder, please, and resolve that council move into the public excluded section at 1:35 p.m. Councillor Neal, thank you very much. Seconder, please. Councillor Beard, thank you very much. All in favour? Thank you. All right, the meeting will be adjourned for 2 minutes to allow the committee to disconnect from Zoom from the open section of the meeting via the second Zoom invite from the public excluded section of the meeting. On the screen, I'm hoping that you've got that and that you will be back with us in 2 minutes.